Take a look at this clip which is circulating online. And this is Warzone's Ricochet anti-cheat detecting that somebody is using an aimbot and making their bullets do 0 damage in-game. I think this is probably one of my favorite trolls of an anti-cheat in any given game. These cheaters are going into lobbies expecting to dunk on people and end up getting dunked on because the damage indicators appear on screen, but they deal no damage to the opponent. That being said, it's not all good news for Call of Duty's new anti-cheat, Ricochet, because it is failing, but it's not failing in the way you might think it is. It's failing because Warzone never really thought they'd have a good anti-cheat, and haven't really prepared their game for that being the case. I've gone from encountering maybe 5 to 6 cheaters across 10 games to going into maybe 1 or no cheaters in an entire 4 to 5 hour session. And that's really impressive because I'm a high KD account, and traditionally cheaters tend to have high KD, meaning that they end up in my lobbies quite frequently. So you might be thinking that cheating has been solved. And yes, kind of. Every single cheater I've ever encountered seems to have been banned within 1 to 3 days, meaning that the anti-cheat, depending on the cheat that's being used and the statistics it's seeing from the account, can sometimes get it instantly, but other times might take a little while to distinguish whether this is just a really good player or somebody who is in fact cheating in the game. And because of this 1 to 3 day period, Reddit and even sometimes my comment sections often tell me that they still encounter cheaters. Now, the issue with a battle royale is, let's say it takes 2 days to stop a cheater and he plays 10 games. That's 10 individual games with 100 players or 150 players in each lobby that he has ruined. So if theoretically that cheater plays 10 games across, 2 or 3 days, that's 1,500 players who feasibly may have encountered a cheater or at least saw that a cheater won the lobby. And that's enough to get some people to stop playing. So this 1 to 3 day window where new accounts can basically jump in, take a little while for the anti-cheat to detect them, get banned, and then rinse and repeat, does make it more cumbersome for cheaters to continue cheating, which is why you've seen such a serious drop-off, but it doesn't stop it. And this is where Call of Duty is getting things wrong. Now, if you look around the rest of the industry, lots of other titles have very genius setups in order to give their anti-cheat time to detect an enemy player or somebody who is not behaving as intended and get rid of them from the game before they can affect the general player pool. For example, in Rainbow Six Siege, you have to reach a certain level, I believe rank 50 it is, before you can even play in the ranked playlist. And by the time you reach level 50, if you're cheating, there's a very high probability that the anti-cheat will detect you before you reach level 50 and enter the ranked player pool, effectively meaning that anybody who plays ranked is pretty much safe. The same thing happens in PUBG. You have to reach level 80 in PUBG in order to go into the ranked playlist, and you also actually have to pay in order to play ranked in PUBG. Similar things are happening in CSGO as well, effectively giving the anti-cheat a very large window of time in order to operate, establish if there's a cheater in the player base, and get rid of them very quickly. Now, Warzone's anti-cheat is a very bespoke anti-cheat, made from the ground up on an engine that isn't very easy to cheat on, or hasn't been historically. With a new IWA engine, it means that cheaters have to manufacture their own tools, and unlike a game like CSGO, which has been around for so long, it can be sometimes a little bit more difficult for cheat developers to get into things. Factor in that Activision is actively suing some of these cheat providers, including engine owning, for example, and naming the people who actually run those companies, which is a very difficult thing to do, then you've got this situation where Warzone's anti-cheat could be really effective if they were using it properly. Effectively, what Warzone needs to do is introduce a hard stop into Warzone, meaning that brand new accounts have to reach, level 50 or level 100 before they can join the general player pool. And they can do this by opening a beginner's playlist, where everybody from rank 0 to rank 50 has to play 10 matches, reach rank 50, and then they can join the rest of their friends or the rest of the player base. Real players who legitimately want to play the game and want to level up so they can join their friends in the rest of the game will do this process and will go through this in order to play with their friends, whereas cheaters who have to reach level 50 every time one of their accounts gets banned are just going to stop bothering, because there's a very high likelihood that the anti-cheat will detect the cheat that they're using by the time they even reach the general player base, meaning that they might ruin a few beginner lobbies in Warzone, but after that, it's just not worth it. And this would make it such an cumbersome system that I don't think you'd ever see cheaters again in Warzone. As long as they keep updating the anti-cheat, it keeps detecting new cheats that enter the game, and keeps identifying flaws with its system and upgrading with the self-learning system that it has, then it's very easy for them to identify new cheats and cheaters and stop them reaching the general player pool. It would also mean that new accounts from level 0 to level 50 would also have double XP completely banned until they reach that point. So generally speaking, Ricochet's anti-cheat is actually a pretty good anti-cheat. Yes, there are ways to get around it, but because it's a both client-side anti-cheat and server-side anti-cheat, if you're wall hacking aggressively, aimbotting, or producing gameplay results that aren't within the normal statistical boundaries of Warzone, then you will either be shadow banned or instantly banned from the game very quickly. And that's why you're seeing things like these random moments where Warzone is able to turn a cheater's bullets from 100 damage to 0 because it's very quickly detected that that person exists and that they are indeed using an aimbot with an unethical amount of aim onto the headshot ratio. So just from basic statistics alone, they've identified swathes of cheaters, banned them, or practically made their games unplayable. The problem is that Warzone just hasn't introduced that initial filter, and because they've made it harder for people to steal Warzone accounts where people have leveled up, having a level barrier to Warzone, or possibly even a separation between casual and ranked playlists that require a level barrier, would make Warzone effectively a cheater-free game, which I think is something a lot of us are looking forward to, and the anti-cheat so far has been honestly quite impressive. For a free-to-play title as large as Warzone, which had as many cheats as Warzone did, the fact that I can very rarely see cheaters in my games these days is an impressive feat. And with this final edition that they haven't designed for yet, but should do very quickly, I think they'll effectively make cheaters redundant in Warzone for at least a couple of years, so long as they maintain the anti-cheat and keep it going. So folks, let me know what you think in the comment section below. How has your cheating experience been in Warzone? Has it been a little bit better? Has it been worse? And let me know what you think about this idea in the comment section below. Thank you guys for recently smashing 80,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 100k. Drop a like, drop a subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.